Hello, fellow compounders. My cousin Dave is earning $16,000 in annual dividends from a $30,000 investment. That's a 54% annual dividend yield. His annual return is actually higher because that number doesn't include capital gains. In this video, I'll show you how he managed to do it and what we can learn from his experience. I know what you're probably asking yourself. Is this for real? Which companies pay such high dividends? How can they do that? What businesses are they in? Can you really get 54% dividend yield on investment? I was skeptical too. So I dug into the numbers and confirmed it's true. And I'll explain it all. But before we continue, you should know that this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not your financial advisor and you're responsible for your own financial decisions. Okay, let's continue. Here's how Dave created a $16,000 annual dividend stream from a $30,000 investment. It all started in the fall of 2002. Dave was 32 years old and he was working at a top-tier management consulting firm. And he had just received a $40,000 end-of-year bonus. At that point in time, he recently read an article about dividend growth investing. The premise was to invest in companies with growing dividends. This means that you got a stream of income that was increasing over time. This provided some protection against inflation as long as the increase was higher than the inflation rate. Ever since I've known Dave, he's been a rational, disciplined, and methodical person. His plan was to buy dividend-paying stocks, reinvest all the dividends, and let the investments grow until he retired. This sounds very similar to a coffee can investing, doesn't it? You might want to check out my video on coffee can investing right here. Dave invested around $5,000 in each of the following businesses. Number 1, Altria, a leading cigarette maker, ticker symbol MO. Number 2, McDonald's, a fast food restaurant, ticker symbol MCD. Number 3, Simon Property Group, a retail mall investment fund, ticker symbol SPG. Number 4, Chevron, an energy company, ticker symbol CVX. Number 5, PepsiCo, a beverage and snack food producer, ticker symbol PEP. And Lockheed Martin, number 6, a military weapons supplier, ticker symbol LMT. He bought these stocks between October and November of 2002. The total dividend of his portfolio in the first year was $1,056, a 3.5% dividend yield. Now in 2022, 20 years later, the annual dividends of this basket is $16,062, a 54% yield on his original investment. Remember that the original investment was $30,000. Do you know how much that investment is worth now? It's now worth around $408,000. That's close to a 13 times increase in value. Amazing, isn't it? You might wonder, how does this compare to just investing the same amount of money, $30,000, into the S&P 500? If Dave had taken the $30,000 and just invested it in SPY, the S&P 500 ETF available in 2002, the dividend in the first year would have been $525, equivalent to 1.8% dividend yield. Now, in 2022, the annual dividends from that position would be $3,076, which is a 10% dividend yield on cost. The original $30,000 in SPY would now be worth $192,000, which is a 5.4 times increase in value. Not bad, but Dave's basket of dividend payers clearly outperformed the S&P 500 by a lot. Let's dive into one of the stocks to better understand the results. Let's use the first one on the list, Altria, ticker symbol MO. When Dave bought the stock of Altria, it was called Philip Morris at the time, and it owned Kraft Foods and a position in Anheuser-Busch. It's a sin stock. It made Marlboros, Oreos, and beer. I must confess that I own Altria because my favorite cookie is the Oreo, and I love making money. They bought 123 stocks of MO, Altria, at $40.75 for $5,000. Altria has been paying quarterly dividends since 1972, over 50 years. The first year, he earned $319 in dividends, a yield of 6.4%. And he reinvested the dividends to buy more Altria shares. He did this every year. Now, 20 years later, he owns 1,633 shares of MO. That's 1,511 additional shares, all from reinvesting the dividends. Can you believe it? This number is incredible. 92% of Dave's MO position came from reinvesting the dividends. he didn't add any additional money to purchase stock. I mean, something looked kind of odd. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. So I did some digging to confirm that this number is correct, and it was. The reason is that in 2007, Altria spinned off Kraft and paid a very large stock dividend. And also in 2008, it spinned off its international division, Philip Morris International, and also paid a large stock dividend. And Dave converted all of those dividends from Kraft and Philip Morris International into Altria stock. So now, with 1,611 shares of Altria, Dave receives, listen up, $6,142 in annual dividends. Let me repeat. Dave receives $6,142 in dividends per year, a yield on cost or yield on his original investment of 123%. He's receiving every year what he originally invested, which was $5,000 and more. So, by the way, his 1,633 shares are now worth around $75,000, a 14 times increase on his original investment. Is that a home run or what? I'll let you review the rest of the table on your own. All 6 stocks outperform the S&P 500 SPY position over Dave's 20-year holding period. And by the way, I forgot to mention in the disclaimer that I own positions in all the stocks mentioned in this video. So, what can we learn from Dave's dividend growth investing example? Number 1, buying stocks with growing dividends is a great strategy if you can identify the right business. I review how to do this in a previous video. Here's that link. Number 2, it is possible to outperform the S&P 500 using a dividend growth investment approach. Number 3, if the dividends are growing consistently, it's because the business is making more money over time and becoming more valuable. That's why we saw the increase in the capital gains. So his $5,000 in each position actually increased in value. Number 4, you need to allow enough time to compound. So using a coffee can approach would work great for this strategy. This means buying and holding for a long period of time, leaving your portfolio undisturbed. Here's my video about coffee can investing. Number 5, this strategy clearly demonstrates the benefits of the compounding effect. As dividends increase, you buy more and more shares. And you're not only getting higher dividends, but you're also getting more dividends because you own an increasing number of shares. In effect, by using this strategy, you're always compounding.